Okay, now for the last four proofs. I want to prove that PAQ, angle PAQ, so this angle up here is congruent to angle PBQ. To do that, I want to show the two big triangles here are congruent. So what I'm going to try and show is that that's an A, Q. Basically, what I'm taking out that middle line. I want to show that those two are congruent. So PB is congruent to PA. I'm going to mark that down. PA is congruent to PB. That's given. AQ is congruent to BQ. That's given. But then PQ is congruent to itself, right? And that's the reflexive property. Now I can say those two triangles are congruent, right? So triangle PAQ is congruent to triangle PBQ because of side, side, side. And now I can say that statement right there. Angle PAQ is congruent to angle PBQ by CPCTC. Once you got rid of AB, the line AB, that was like a difficulty level of about probably a 2, maybe 3. Once you got rid of that line. If you didn't see to get rid of that line, it could be a little trickier. But not every line is needed to make a proof, to do these proofs. Okay. Triangle ABE is congruent to triangle BAC. That's where what I want to try and prove. So I'm going to locate those two triangles. So ABE, that's this little triangle here, and BAC, that little triangle there. I'm going to redraw those. And the reason I'm doing that here is because there's two other triangles, right there and right there, that we could also prove congruent, but that's not what I'm trying to do here. So I'm going to label those A, E, B, and B, C, A. Okay, now I've got those two separated. Now I'm going to start labeling. BEA, angle BEA, is congruent to angle ACB. I'm going to mark that and say it. Angle BEA is congruent to angle ACB, and that was given. AD, which is not in those two triangles, is congruent to BD. So that's out here. I'm going to say that AD is congruent to BD. That's given, but how does that help me? Well, that makes it an isosceles triangle, right? Which means this angle across from it, angle B here, is congruent to angle A. Now I'm saying angle B and angle A, and I can't say that because there's multiple angle A's and multiple angle B's, but you see what I'm talking about here. Those two angles are congruent, which up here would be these two angles. All of angle B is that triangle there. All of angle A is that triangle there. So what I can say is angle EAB is congruent to angle CBA, and that was the isosceles triangle theorem. Okay. Now these are overlapping triangles, so there's probably a congruent side or angle, and that would be AB. AB is congruent to BA. That's the reflexive property. And now I can say that the two triangles are congruent because of angle, angle, side. And I'm assuming you know how to do that. If you don't, you should probably go back and watch the first video. Okay, number 1 here. HG is perpendicular to GL. I'm going to go ahead and say, since it's saying the same thing, KL is perpendicular to GL. That's given. What does that mean? HG is perpendicular to GL. So that means that makes a right angle there. KL is perpendicular to GL, which means it's a right angle there. So I'm going to mark that down. Angle HGJ and angle KLJ are right angles. And that's the definition of perpendicular lines. Well, that means that angle HGJ is congruent to angle KLJ, since all right angles are congruent. Okay? I also have HG is congruent to KL. That was given. So that would be given. And now I need one more piece. Hopefully you see the vertical angles here. I'm going to mark those, and now I got to say it. Angle GJH is congruent to angle LJK. That's vertical angles theorem. And now I can say the two triangles are congruent, which is what I wanted to try and do. GHJ is congruent to triangle LKJ by angle side. Okay. Next one, I'm going to redraw these triangles again. So LKN and LMJ. Angle LKN is congruent to angle LMJ, and that's given. Now I want to mark it, make sure I find the right ones. LKN is congruent to LMJ. I also said LM is congruent to LK. Again, that's given. LM is congruent to LK. And the last piece I need is the common side or angle, which in this case it is an angle. Angle L is in both, so angle L is congruent to angle L by the reflexive property. I'm going to mark those. And now I have the two triangles congruent. Triangle MLJ is congruent to triangle KLN by angle side angle. And finally, KN is congruent to MJ because of CPCTC. Okay. Hopefully that helped. Checkpoint B is tomorrow.